All right, we're live.
You're live. Chuck may or may not be joining us here. Before we get started, I want to mention again real quick. So Team Wolfpack is still we still have a couple openings on Team Wolfpack. We've got two guys, and we are looking for at least one more, hopefully two, or else we're gonna have to dissolve Team Wolfpack and merge them with Team Poodle or something else. So if you're interested, you can drop me an email at josh@joshuaearl.com and I'll hook you up.
Cool.
Yep.
And due to the Simple Programmer sales slump, I've moved entirely into my office.
John's actually subletting all the other rooms in his house.
Yes.
He has 30 people living in his house now.
It's all Airbnb.
Yeah. Manny, I'm running an interesting test this week. So I decided to just do a sale to smoke test our funnel to see if I could find anything wrong with it. So I set up, this is how crazy this has gotten. I've set up Hotjar on the sales pages, and I'm literally like, there's like 30 or 40 of them a day, and I'm just sitting there watching screen recordings of people interacting with the shopping cart. So I did figure out that there is an issue where people are getting a bad gateway error when they click the checkout button. They get a bad gateway error. However, that's not affecting our sales because the sale actually goes through, and then they see the error. So it just screws up their user experience, but it actually doesn't. It charges them money and makes it look like it didn't. So I do want to get that fixed. But yeah, so I set it up so that we have half the traffic going to Zaxa, like a sales page that links out to the Zaxa storefront shopping cart, and then the other half links to WooCommerce. And when I first kicked the sale off, we were running. It was like 3-to-1. We were making 3 times more sales in Zaxa than we were in WooCommerce. So that was a little alarming. So yeah, it was a small sample size. It was only 9, but it was like 9 purchases in Zaxa, 3 purchases in WooCommerce. So it could have been chance, but it seemed like it was continuing in that direction. So I ended up disabling this plugin I was using that was customizing the way that the checkout page appeared. And once I did that, it seemed like they were running 50-50, pretty close. So there may have been some kind of issue with that plugin that I.
What in the way checkout page appeared? What do you mean?
Well, so the WooCommerce, by default, the WooCommerce checkout page is kind of messy. So it's like you go shopping cart, and you go to the checkout page, and there's like, it takes up the whole screen, and it's like billing details on the left, and then purchase details on the right. And it's just like visually very busy and not very, there's not a lot of like flow to the page to kind of guide you through it. So I'd gotten this plugin, and it basically organized it into more of a linear, kind of like a Samcart looking type of linear checkout form. And but yeah, I don't know. It seemed like possibly that there was some error happening with that plugin that I wasn't able to detect in my. I mean, it's to the point where I'm wondering if maybe some of this is happening to people that have ad blocking plugins or JavaScript disabled, because it's not showing up. I can't like see it happening on any of my tools. But that would make sense because they're all JavaScript dependent. So
you have like cart abandonment numbers for both those carts now?
I actually don't think WooCommerce tracks that by default. I have it. I did set up a Mixpanel funnel, and it looked like once they got to the cart that like, I think it was like somewhere between 40 and 60% of people were checking it out, which is not bad. I mean, like, I think the standard is around 30% of people, like 70% of people bail, 30% finish. And it looked like, I mean, it was definitely higher than the average for cart abandonment. So it didn't seem like that was like way out of line. But the problem I've seen in Mixpanel is like sales. There's like, I have 3 steps in the funnel. It's like sales page, shopping cart, checkout, and the big drop off is between sales page and shopping cart. But yeah, so I did I did that test, and I don't know. It seems like it might have helped. We're just seeing like, we're not seeing very good results from this sale at all, though. Like, it's pretty. I even bumped the price way down on 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly, and it's been pretty anemic. Like, I pulled in 29,000 people, and we've made 45 sales total so far.
What dollar points?
So, $49.
And how many days into sale now?
It was 29,000
No,
people.
how many emails?
So I did 4 emails. I've actually run this one before. So I'm split testing it too. I set up 2 different sequences. One, half the list got 1 email on Monday and 3 emails on Tuesday. And then the other half of the list is getting 1 email a day for 4 days. So I'm just testing, making the sale longer, just to see what happens there. So we should see the last email goes out tonight. So we should see a few more sales come in, but still it's going to be like, I don't even know what the conversion rate is going to be. It's going to be super low.
30,000 people, 4 emails for each of those, and you got 50 sales.
Yeah.
Damn. 2,000.
I know. Yeah. So, so it is, and that's like a really good price too. I mean, I think we may have offered that price once or twice before, but virtually never. So whatever is going on is like, it kind of makes sense though, because this sale isn't really any different than the other sales that we're running, the evergreen sales we're running constantly that are no longer producing. So it's kind of like we just ran a bunch of people through it.
Yeah.
What's the conversion rate on the sales page?
Yeah, I'd need to look at it. It's
In the
pretty
cart?
low.
Do you have conversions from the cards?
Yeah, well, I don't have a clean. Again, I could tell you. Let me look at Mixpanel real quick. I can give you an idea of what the conversion rate is overall, not for this sale specifically, but it's pretty sad.
I think shit. Yeah. What's the usual price on the product?
$99. And we used to sell a decent number at full price. All right, so funnels, I'm looking here. So these aren't like, from what I've seen, the Mixpanel's not like bulletproof. It's decent, the numbers, but it's not bulletproof by any means. So it looks like, so we're averaging 3.78% of people clicking add to cart.
Okay.
And then of those, 40.8, so almost 41% complete. So it ends up being, it's 1.5% completion rate, which is actually, you know what? That is that's fairly close to what I've been seeing historically. The problem is just that, like, we're not getting as many people.
The sale didn't do anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just like there's no enthusiasm for anything.
Well, no, not for anything. It might be because they've seen this product before, and they.
Yeah, but we've done, this is not any different. I mean, we used to run quarterly sales.
But this was a Memorial Day weekend sale. It didn't happen on Memorial Day.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, everybody was out grilling hamburgers and hot dogs. I was telling John yesterday, we had snow here. I was like, yesterday morning, we had like half an inch of snow. I'm like, it's April 20th. This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, we've gotten snow here too in Utah.
I saw Antonio's in Wisconsin. He had like 4 feet of snow outside his place when I saw the video Monday.
Oh man.
4 feet.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But yeah, so we're I don't know. I'm not really sure what to do at this point. I think I'm going to be able to fix that 502 error, so that should be resolved. There's a couple little user experience tweaks. Like I've been watching these checkout videos, and it is amazing. It is amazing how determined people are sometimes when because they're hitting problems. I've seen people where they'll come to the checkout page and they have to fill in their billing information and their credit card, and they'll fill it in, and then there will be a problem. They'll hit some kind of little snag, and then they'll refresh, and then they'll get a bunch of error messages, and they go through and they fix all the error messages, and their mouse is zipping all over the screen. And then I need to we really need to streamline this, obviously, but and then they'll do it. They'll try a couple times, and then they'll go somewhere else, and they'll come back, and then they'll get a session expired message, which I need to fix, and then they fill out the form again. But it's not hurting our conversion rates, because those are the people that are actually checking out. The people that are bailing are they hit the page and then they're gone. It's amazing. It's like once people have decided to buy, it's almost like there's no stopping them.
I wonder too now, I mean, maybe it's just a sign of the times. Maybe those long form sales pages are now actually hurting us instead of helping us. Maybe we should run a test where we have just where most of the copy is in the email. We talked about doing this before.
Yeah, I'm open to doing that.
Like a product showcase, just a fancy, millennial bling flash. This is our magical product thing.
The blogging workbook, though, hasn't been selling all that well either. And that one is exactly what I mean. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty much just product page, and we're selling that in email, and it's been the same deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's time to test your sales funnel out with some productivity program.
Oh.
Just to see if anything has changed between December and May.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Just rerun the thing. I think, Manny, I would like to do. I would like to possibly consider retooling that as a procrastination, like how to beat procrastination.
We can do that.
Because I did a survey last week, and there were a few people who were talking about time management. The most frequent term was time management. Productivity was used a couple of times, but the most common one was procrastination. That was what everybody.
We could do an procrastination upsell, just like we did Bulldog Mindset upsell last time.
I would flip it. I would make the productivity one the upsell.
Ooh, okay.
Because of how many more people were talking about procrastination versus only, I think maybe 2 or 3 people out of 250 used the word productivity.
What was the context of this?
I did a survey asking people if they could ask John anything for 15 minutes, spend 15 minutes with them and ask him anything. What would they want to know? What would they want to ask about? And procrastination was up there.
Interesting.
Lots of confidence, self-confidence questions too.
Dude, confidence is definitely, instead of mental toughness, we could sell it as confidence any given day. And
yeah.
We'd still do bumps and upsells and not just a Bulldog Mindset, but also some confidence course with John or something. So,
I'm not confident to ask John anything, so I put it off.
Oh man, you need all of them.
I know, right?
Buy them all.
It was kind of counterproductive. So
But yeah, so far the
Confidence
We'll-
more than procrastination, because it's because we sold mental toughness last time. We did not sell confidence last time, even though it's the same.
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it even more than procrastination?
Yeah, I'd have to go back. I think it was. I think it was mostly it wasn't like I need help with my confidence, but there was like the word confidence and like, I need to learn how to do interviews better so I can feel more confident. Like that word just came up over and over and over and over again.
The interview part came up again.
What's that?
The interview part came up too many times.
Not a ton. That was just an example. There were like, there were a few mentions of that. There was like,
Do you want to send the survey over to me as well, if you are okay with it?
I can share that with you. I'll make a note about that.
Glean any information from that for any future products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
I'm open to whatever you decide, but remember, we already know that the priority one, we know it will work because we made it work, and we know exactly what makes it work, and we already have upsells now to do that. So that one is already done, like an easy thing. But yeah, if you want to change it, I'm all for it.
Do we have? Well, we have the upsells. We have are all like the mental toughness. They're not like directly productivity related, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like the mental toughness guys were 25% of them were buying productivity books. Somebody's right.
Okay, so we can just use that.
We can use that, but now I'm launching my meditation course next week, so that will allow me to sell the meditation course as the upsell as well. And
Right.
like what you just pointed out, if procrastination is the thing, I can grab hold of John and start record a procrastination video.
Yeah.
And do a procrastination masterclass just like last time and see what happens. Because here's the thing, like I was kind of like, initially I was concerned about the price point of the Bulldog Mindset and the fact that it's an upsell, so we might get a lot of returns on the fact that it's just an interview form.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, I've had only one return so far on that, I think, one or two.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, because like the people that are spending, a lot of times the people that spend more money are actually less likely to, especially if they have to say yes again to spend more money, they're like going to be less likely to return.
Yeah.
Just because they're more into it. They're less on the fence. So.
So there's a lot of different options for like upsells, side sell, downsell in this game. Once we can look at the survey, we can come up with a couple of different products for the bump and the upsell to make it much more efficient. Rather than $6,
yeah,
we go to $9 EPC or something, which I think is really reasonable.
I'll have to think about that. I'm either going to do that or interview Cake. I feel like this might be better at this point. So I'll have to think about it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
sales
interview
is
Cake.
still down, I think I gathered, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what we're talking about?
Yeah, we did a sale. I did a sale to about a little under half the list this week, just to kind of smoke test the funnel, and it seems like there's nothing majorly wrong. It's just kind of been very lackluster response. So I do not know. Kind of starting to turn my attention toward working on our next product, though, figuring out what that's going to be. But yeah, it would
People are
be.
spending all their money on James Comey's book.
That's got to be it. That's got to be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far we'll see. I'm gonna see how the I split tested for this particular sale. I split tested the different sale durations, same copy, same emails, different lengths of time, and so far the 2-day format is winning 25 to 15. So we'll see. We've got one more email to go out. I think it'll probably be. I think it's going to be fairly close, but I think that it won't really make a difference. I'm guessing that what we're going to see is more opens, more clicks from the longer campaign, just because the emails have been out there longer,
Yeah.
but the decreased urgency of the whole thing will mean that it's like less. The conversion rates will probably be lower.
Well, the thing is, it'll come down to the finish line, right? Because what I would expect is with the longer one, if it does better, it'll be at the end because
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
when the
Yep.
urgency. So, and I would still bet. I bet the longer one does do better because I bet what's going to happen because you just have more exposure, and then on the last day, you essentially have the same amount of urgency as you do on the 2 day. And so I think by having the increased exposure, the initial hits, you have just a wider net, and then even though the urgency, is not quite as extreme as you only have 2 days. I think that will produce more conversions overall, but I guess we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. What's that?
Same sales page they're pointing to?
They're pointing, yeah, same sales page. The only difference is that I'm also, this won't affect things, but I'm also A/B testing shopping carts.
But in terms of the sales page, because the sale is ending on different dates for these guys, how's that work on the sales?
I don't have a countdown timer on the sales page.
Oh man.
So
why don't you put a countdown timer? I think that'll boost conversions.
I mean, I've tested it before and it didn't really do much, honestly. And you can only do the countdown timer. The countdown time, like this is essentially our evergreen funnel, and I have not found a tool out there to properly handle countdown timers with evergreen. So it's just
Deadline funnels does that.
Deadline funnels. I tried deadline funnels and it destroyed our sales because it was like there was just I don't know what was wrong, but technically there was some misfire and people were getting emails that were like they were getting emails halfway through the campaign with the zeros like this deal has expired messages. Like it was horrible. It ended up, so I ripped it out. It was a mess. So I'd like to maybe, I don't know, maybe try it again at some point, but it significantly damaged our sales, like half.
Wow.
But
no timer.
Yep.
I mean, this one is a deadline-driven timer anyway. I mean, this is a hard time, so it's not such like it's complicated when it's soft time like deadline time.
Yeah. I could have done one for this. I would have had to make more copies of the sales page.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. I kind of wanted to test the current setup too.
yeah.
Versus complicating it further. But
it
would be interesting. I've not really seen much of a. I've tested it a couple of times and didn't really see a huge. I wasn't really impressed with the countdown timer thing. So I don't know. I'm sure it helps, but it's like if it's a, it depends on the volume, right? Like if the volume is that, if you can, if it increases things 0.1%, that could be significant if your volume is, but if it's like, if you're making 50 sales, 0.1% doesn't even register. It might not even be one extra sale. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have any, I'm kind of out of ideas. So as far as, we're just going to have to wait it out and see what happens.
This is weird. Have you guys run the same sale before? Similar?
Yeah, I ran the same sale before, and it worked a lot better than this. I don't remember what the numbers were, but
is it possible that you've just saturated? You've hit everybody who's going to buy it, or almost everybody who's going to buy it?
It is, but it's not really any different than what we've been doing in the past. Like basically,
Right.
In the past, every time we did a sale, we would make $10,000, and it would be like products that we'd offered sales on before.
You had sold before. Yeah. That makes sense.
And that was with a smaller list too. Like our list is growing. We've got a lot of new people on the list, so it's just odd.
Yeah. Even if you get 1% of your list to buy, it's huge. So Chuck, like the idea that you could just completely saturate the list is almost impossible because 1% is such a small number with any given.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Another thing
Yeah.
to test would be to just strip it down completely, just to like think about like, or what's the most basic offering that we can have with the least complicated, which would basically be like an email sequence with the add to cart right in the email. Like, you know what I mean? Just buy it right there.
Yeah.
But we have to wait to do that. I don't know. It's weird. Like,
is this your best-selling product?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and honestly, like in the survey that I did, I went through and I took the people that were the most frustrated with their situation, and I think it was like 40 of them. Yeah, I think it was 40 of them cited something about learning.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was by far, it was twice the next highest. It was like twice as many people cited that as their main issue as compared to anything else. So that's why this product has been our best selling product, because it's the biggest pain point that everyone feels, really.
Is there 10 steps to learn anything fast? Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely I definitely need to work on getting some new offers out there. But like I was telling John, it's super hard to get motivated to do, 3 to 6 months worth of work to launch a new product. And when what you've already built is feels like it's disintegrating. So I'm just going to have to push through that, and hopefully it bounces back, but
I'll build a product for you. Just tell me.
There you go.
Serious. Tell me, I'll build a product. I'll build a funnel. You guys can just plug it into your funnel and see what happens.
Yeah, just outsource it.
Huh?
Yeah, I think I'm super tempted at this point to do something either with the procrastination as our next offer, like either that or the self-confidence thing. And just see what happens.
Self-confidence might be even more bigger, except that we already that was only February we did it, so that might be a little too soon. Procrastination might be good.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah.
It's already 6 months now.
Give me a film crew and I'll make you a self-confidence product.
Who needs film crew? How about Google Hangouts, John? How's that for a film crew?
All right.
I think John wants to go out on the town for this one.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm telling him. How about Google Hangouts?
Yeah, well, I'll just follow him around with my smartphone at MicroConf.
There we go.
But yeah, I'd also I'd like to not. We don't want to be dependent on affiliate offers just to kind of keep the lights on. Like we're still even with the sales tanking the way they have, we're still profitable, but it's not. There's not a lot of margin in there.
Right.
If you think of it, affiliate offers might actually be a much bigger play than play with your own offer, because your own offer, you can only have so many offers. But all the big internet marketing.
Yeah, but it seems like I can't seem to hit with affiliate offers. I can't seem to do more than, the Interview Cake one is still the best one that we've done. And that was about 45K, and we only got half of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like pretty much an affiliate offer is going to be 30 to 50K is like a kind of a good, is like a pretty decent success. Right. And we only get half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we need, what we really need, to turn this thing around, we need, obviously, the SEO front, the long-term outlook is to increase the traffic. If we double the traffic, that solves a good amount of the problem. But on top of that, is to have just a flagship product that is specifically the pain point that we can that we have a funnel, a brand new funnel that goes right to that flagship product that has an upsell, for the different tiers that that we can just push the hell out of. That's the thing. And then that's something that we could potentially get paid advertising working with. So
right.
we have to have a higher enough high end on it too.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I need to go next. So
Paid advertising?
no, not paid advertising. Just building the high value funnel with high enough valued back end that we could potentially do paid advertising. So, but that's kind of where I'm going. That's what the survey was, my first step toward that. So I'm probably going to be doing like some one-on-one kind of like Skype call coaching type stuff here to get to know the audience a little better and what the needs are. And but yeah,
Flagship, I'm assuming at least $1,000, John. Is that what you're saying?
Well, for the highest tier of it, I mean, we need something that's like a solid seller. Like ideally, what we'd have is like basically a lead magnet, like an offer that led right in. Like it's all the same whatever concept we're selling, like becoming a developer, whatever. If it's the learning thing, and you'd have like a $49 product.
Right.
You'd have like a $199 or $299 product, and then like the $1,000, and then maybe like the potential for like a $5,000 like package or something like that. But basically, like to have those and to have upsells along those.
Yeah.
The marketing business is like the $2,000 is the flagship price point most of the times, right? That's what
well, it depends. Like, so I just went through Brian Dean's SEO That Works funnel, and that the high end, the base on that one was $997. That was, and then it was like, it was like $997, and then I think it was $29.97, and then $49.97.
That makes sense.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's much better than going $49 and $299 because you're straight away going to a much.
Well, it depends on the market.
Yeah.
So I mean, in the fitness market, you have to be $29. I kind of feel like we're a little bit more. We're not at that level, but we're more at that level than we are.
Yeah.
We're not selling to entrepreneurs who are marketing junkies.
But you're in the make money niche in some ways.
Yes.
Sort
we
of.
are.
If we sold like a boot camp in a box, that would be a high price point. That'd be a $2,000 ticket item that you could just because you're comparing, because your price anchoring is against going to a traditional boot camp or going to college, right? It's like it's like, oh, and you can get this job that makes this much money. So
although we did just do that with the Clever Programmer offer, and we got it was a boot camp in a box was what we were selling. That one was technology specific. It was niched down to Python.
Yeah.
But we did 81 sales on that. So
it was a pretty high price point too. So yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't $997
No.
or $1997.
Yeah.
It was $397. So
but it was also not our product where we had
true.
But you guys got returns on it?
What's that?
Returns? What's the return rate?
Could you say that again? Sorry,
What's the return rate on that product?
Oh, I haven't heard. So, yeah, I could probably check. Yeah, that was in Samcart, but
yeah, then Samcart probably gives you those details right away, right? Like,
yeah, I think it would. Let me see. Oh darn, to log in. But anyway, yeah, it's just kind of the latest from my world. I don't really.
What is the EPC right now on this offer that you guys are running? How many? Like, what's the conversion that way? Or don't you this EPC?
Oh, it is. Yeah. So I was looking at that. Part of it is that I had to back out all the upsells. So
why?
But it didn't matter, honestly. It doesn't really matter. I think the EPC on this is actually like $1.50 at the moment. Because of how things have just dropped off.
So are you not getting as many clicks, or are you not getting as many conversions on sales page?
We're getting half as much traffic. It's so okay. So the two drop off points that I can find are we're getting about half as much traffic overall to the products pages, to all of them. So across our different products, the clicks that I can see coming from different sources are about half of what they were 2 months ago. And then the real kick in the pants, though, is that when people get to the sales pages, they're not clicking through to the cart anywhere near the rate that they used to. 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly has basically died completely.
So it's just in raw numbers, saying it's half, the click-through rate on email is half, and then
no, the click-through rate on the emails is the same. So I figured out in Drip how to pull a report that would show me campaigns. And what I did was I exported all the stats for the campaigns from January and then April, it's January and March. And then I was able to do a pivot table. This was really cool. I didn't know you could do this with, I didn't know Drip allowed you to export this data, but I did a pivot table and I looked at number of emails sent, number of emails opened, number of clicks, and then the percentages of open rates, and it looked basically identical.
Okay.
So I think that the traffic drop off is probably just less. Some of it, a little bit of it's from Drip, but it's probably mostly coming just from other sources.
I'm thinking in this sale, compared to last time we ran the sale, how many clicks from emails compared to how many on-page clicks? That way you know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to look at that once the sale's completely done. I'm going to look at that, but I don't know yet.
Moving well, or is it the sales rate that's
Yeah.
Hey, John, when did you announce that you were quitting Simple Programming?
Well, it was announced on YouTube, not really on the email list or anything so.
Yeah, well, it got announced. It did get announced on the email list. It was March 1st, which
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Which is, I'm wondering if this is not a factor, because we have definitely we've been getting a decent number. I'd say we get 1 to 2 emails a day from people who are wanting to know if you're okay, and they're emailing and they're like, John, I'm seeing you on YouTube and I'm just really concerned. And so I don't know, it does seem like there's some level of awareness of you stepping back, and there's one in the inbox right now saying, now that you've quit Simple Programmer, are you going to be starting to program again? So it does seem like it's possible that there's just sort of a general lack of enthusiasm because people know that you've, I don't know. It seems like to me, if we'd seen a modest drop off, I would have been more inclined to think that was a factor. But this
well, if you think about I don't know how much of a cult following John has. I have a feeling it is quite high. But if you think about it, if Tony Robbins tomorrow says, hey, I quit Tony Robbins and I'm going to start something else, but you guys can still buy my programs, it might be difficult for him to sell. I have a feeling that it's a meta level issue.
Yeah.
You can point out, but it's trust that goes with the brand might have gone down, and with trust, sales come down to trust more or less, right? Not that you don't trust the brand, it's just overall feeling of, okay, it was John, now what's happening?
Well, if that's the case, that's actually pretty good, because we have to go through that anyway, right? Simple Programmer has to go through this phase, and it will only take some time before it's like the old fogies know who John Sonmez of Simple Programmer is, but the new people won't have an idea. Well, they won't have much of an idea, right? They'll have somewhat, but it won't be the same. So as we keep cycling through and new people keep coming onto the list and we get new customers, then we should get through that and not have that issue. It should start picking up again. So,
and that's why I felt like you guys as Simple Programmer. Okay, so there's this interview Yaro did with Dan Fagella. I think Dan Fagella. So the guy, what he did was, I'll send you guys an interview. What he did was he initially built his business around him.
Right.
Combat, martial art courses.
Mm-hmm.
He sold a couple of them, right? Then he decided that he's going to bring in new people to sell their courses, right? So he started saying, other people's courses. Then he decided he was going to step out from the business. Now what happened was the catalog of courses they have, like not that he decided then. He had already made up his mind when he started the business, but he was sell out the business, sold it for $1 million. But the way he did was almost like he was creating and bringing in new programs every month from other people. So over time, even though the email came from that one person, the courses were like from everyone else. So it became a much more umbrella brand than the brand.
Right.
And that was really interesting to see that he made that transition over time from just selling himself to selling generic courses on martial arts, and it was working. So that's that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's why I said like might be that affiliate is better for you guys because now you're a simple programmer, a bigger generic brand. So you have much more access to bigger, like you can sell other products and other offers, and making might be a big part of the business now, because you can't just bank on John to do the products.
Right.
You bank on John to be the face of the franchise. You get other people, other kinds of products to come in and replace that and make it a more scalable business that way compared to John's face in John's product.
Yeah, that's definitely the direction that I want to head. It's just the tricky part about that is because like our niche is a little bit the soft skills niche is not crowded with experts that I can draw on. You know what I mean? So I have to kind of find people. So it's going to be a process of developing people that it's not like if we were selling JavaScript or Python or something and we had a list of 100,000 or 75,000 Python developers, well, that's easy. You can have there's tons of people doing Python courses that we could just grab any one of them, do something on the latest Python thing, and it would sell well. So with this, I'm going to have to, it's a little bit, it's not, I mean, it'll work for sure. And that's the direction I need to head. It's just, there's not a huge pool of people that I have in mind. I did talk to one guy this week who I think is going to be a good fit. He's one of John's coaching clients, actually, coaching students. And I think he'll be a good fit. And I think he's going to be somebody that I can hopefully tap to do some products or something in the future. But I'm going to have to grow my own. I'm going to need a farm team, basically.
Yeah, I was talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think what we're talking about though is that the market has changed one way or the other. Whether it's you guys and your relationship to the market that you've been marketing to, or there's something else going on in the market that you're not aware of. And so either way, I think Manny's got the right idea in just experimenting and seeing what you can make stick. So it could be affiliate, it could be something else, it could be the way you message things, it could be the way that you reach out. Maybe you could also just have John do a, hey folks, I'm back for a week, or or just an update. Here's what I've been doing. I just I wanted to let you all know, and just see how that works. And I don't know, but you could try a bunch of different things.
John's back for a week sale.
Yeah. I need some money.
Bills are piling up.
Sleeping on a bed in my office. You need to buy this program now.
I love it. Anyway.
Well, or you could just say, hey, I was talking to Josh and he said that we were getting a bunch of emails asking, hey, what's going on with you? Are you okay? So here's a little update. And, because I love you, yeah, we're putting this out there on a sale or something. I don't know.
Hey guys, I'm doing doing great. Just hanging on. Just maybe you guys want to buy something?
Yeah, the March, that's exactly the timeline we're talking here. You end of February when the sales start to taper off, right? March, first week, whatever.
Well, it would give you some idea, right? If it's part of what's mattering to people.
It's a meta level thing. It's hard to put fingers on something like that, but it's a bigger framework here. The fact that the face of the franchise is not as what they think.
Well, do you want to put out an email? I can do a video and we can put out an email that says, I'm not actually quitting Simple Programmer. I'm still like I'm just not making it's like actively involved in making content
Yeah.
right now for Simple Programmer, but I'm still Simple Programmer or whatever. I don't know. We could put something out like that if you if
I'm still the majority owner in this business.
yeah.
Still, I'm actively involved with operations. Well, I don't know how actively.
He
At
has a
least-
bed in his office. We'll just leave it at that.
or maybe Josh, time to introduce yourself and like try to.
Yeah. So
that's a better play.
What I'm thinking is,
Yeah.
I think I need to do that. I've been sort of waffling on whether I want to get into the product creation thing myself, or if it would be better to just bite the bullet and take the pain and do it with somebody else. But I'm kind of thinking that initially it probably makes sense for me to be the product creation, at least one of the product creation people initially. So I'm kind of thinking that I'm going through. I had gone through Danny Inney's course, Course Builders Laboratory, a couple years ago, and it was really good. And I've watched it evolve, and they've the latest version of it that I have access to. Danny Inney is still kind of he's the face of it, and he does like videos at strategic points, but he's also got his course, like he's got his right-hand man that comes in and teaches a lot of the lessons. So I'm thinking that might be the direction, like maybe if I figure out what the course content's going to be, and then have John do kind of like an intro video and maybe like 3 or 4 videos that get sprinkled throughout the course. And then maybe I do a quarter of it or half of it, and then I have somebody else that I work with that does some of it as well. But yeah, I think definitely we need to definitely start getting more faces involved.
Or maybe think of it this way. I mean, if you guys really want to scale this brand, Simple Programmer is a great name. Over time, John could be phased out of that name, right?
Yeah.
You guys and Josh can be phased out of that name as well. Like it could become a much bigger business, and like you can literally be like, okay, well, the business doesn't worry about John, doesn't worry about Josh. It could be something like Big Think or Entrepreneur, Inc,
Right.
or AppSumo.
Yeah. Yes.
Powerhouses. Maybe some guy started at some point with like one person, but over time it just became those big brands.
Yeah, I'm looking at some the businesses I'm looking at are like, so there's Video Fruit by Brian Harris, and that really was Brian all by himself for a long time, and now I'm pretty sure he doesn't write the emails anymore. And they're a lot bigger, like they're like several $1 million in revenue, and he's got a whole team.
There's an interesting you pointed out Brian Harris. I was one time considering their like coaching program for like list growth, and I got on the call with their like sales guy. He was smart though. He wasn't just a sales guy. It was good. He kind of understood the business a little bit. But then he was like, "Oh, by the way, Brian is not going to teach this anymore. It's going to be another coach who's going to do it." And as soon as he said that, I'm like, "Nah, I'm not interested."
Yeah. I think that's kind of like so.
That definitely, in my mind, they lost like $5,000 worth of revenue right there as soon as he said Brian's not doing it. So
right. I think what I'm thinking is that.
But it may be a necessary transition. So
that actually makes sense. For me, it didn't make sense. So you guys are probably going through that pain point right now, where disassociating because of the lack of John. But maybe that's a good thing over time. The new crowd that comes in doesn't know John, while you guys still
right. Yeah. I'm actually thinking that like, so the near future, what I'm thinking that I might be doing is like just trying to sell some like one-off paid coaching, and basically bring people in, do some kind of email promotion. But I'm gonna have to like, I think what happened with you is that you were probably in Brian's world for a while, so you were familiar with Brian, and then really.
No, not really.
Okay.
I had maybe a couple of videos of his, and a couple.
I think they waited too long into the sales funnel to tell you that.
For the switcheroo.
Yeah. So you need, what I would be doing, like whether it's coaching or courses or whatever, is I'm going to need to be selling the experts whoever, whether it's me, whether it's this other guy I was talking to, I'm going to need to put spend a lot of time selling them.
It's like the meta level concept. Instead of being the king, which you guys are, you have to become the king makers now. Because that becomes scary, right?
Yeah.
The way I'm thinking about it is that I'm going to probably do some of this myself, but I'm going to hire myself basically, if that makes sense. Like I'm not going to replace John. What I'm going to do is bring myself in, sell me through John in the same way that I would sell any other expert. So I can kind of learn how to do that. And then it'll be the same process as I bring more people in, and it won't matter so much.
I mean, it's the exact same thing you do with affiliate deals, right? You sold me, you sold Ozzy, you sold the other guy.
Yeah.
And you could, if you don't create a product, it's a different kind of sale. But if you create a product, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, just make sure you're not taking on too much when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, while John sleeps on his bed and you're on the treadmill.
I know, right?
I sold my treadmill desk.
You can have a high-level mastermind and be like, all right, we're going to try and call John here. Like, what do you guys want? Damn it. Oh, you want to do JavaScript? What the fuck, dude? Like, get out of here.
Sorry, John. Did we wake you up?
Make a fucking blog. Fuck. Get out of here. A blog. You know how to make a YouTube video? Turn on your phone. Damn. All right, that's it, guys. I'm going to sleep.
Oh man, but yeah, I do think that probably. I mean, aside from possibly this just being some kind of weird seasonal thing that's going to pass, there's definitely some component to this that's going to be growing pains, I think.
Yeah,
and we just have to go through it.
You guys should embrace the change and make the business much more scalable that way.
Yep.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's how to think about it too, right? I mean, a lot of it comes down to the traffic, right? I think the traffic, the SEO plan of this is really good, because the way to think about it too is like all these new people that are coming in through SEO to the blog, most of them have not seen the brand or haven't seen any of this before. So they don't know any of this stuff. Like, we're kind of assuming, but they don't know who John Sonmez is. They don't know about anything. So we can paint whatever picture and whatever funnel that we want going forward from there. So that's the things to think about, is like, what's the fresh start? Like, if you're taking this today, if you just have the traffic and it's developers, what do we do with that traffic? Like, and there's a lot of answers to that question. So
sounds like you're phasing John out of the business while you have to bring other talent into the business, right? It's like you have to have more than just John as the name of the franchise to scale a lot more.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking. I think at some point I need to start sending emails out under my own name too, and I'm thinking I might do. I might start creating some offshoot sequences that I get people to opt in for, where I basically sell me as John, and then get people to opt in, so that I can start kind of building my own, because I'm pretty much an unknown now. I mean, John's mentioned me a few times in YouTube videos, but other than that, I'm completely unknown at this point.
Right? That's a disconnect right there, in the sense.
Right.
Yeah, because then you can work from your own relationship with your audience.
Right.
That's a big disconnect, because people don't know you. People know John. John is gone. So now what's going on with the business? Like, now they feel kind of on not the same safe footing as they used to back in the day. So,
I know the feeling. But
I think there's a lot you can. I actually think there's more scalability because of this now. Even though it's painful right now, there's a lot more you guys will do.
Yeah.
You're killing John.
Yeah, I agree. I just was hoping it would happen less abruptly.
little less pain, huh?
Yeah.
Like, obstacle is the way. No, serious, man. That one is like always real.
Yeah.
The obstacle in the way becomes the way. Always real.
Anyway, that's been my week.
Or last couple of months.
Yeah, last couple of months.
Hey, so I have some questions about pricing. My meditation course next week.
Okay.
Trying to figure out because it's all live. So I'm gonna do 4-week live workshops. Each meditation and everything around it. So I was trying to figure out the pricing. I want to go higher price now. Like I'm done with the 99 and sub $99 product points. So I want to do an early bird, maybe early bird and then full price. So what do you guys have in, like, what kind of price?
What is your so it's gonna be 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Live?
Fine.
And how many
I like this live meditation coaching. It'll be like, all right, you're gonna, everybody ready? Let's go.
That's it. Like, go to John, like I'm on John's bed sleeping there, and they're like, "What the fuck happened?"
I was gonna say, if you've been paying attention to my life, yeah, close your eyes. Still there? Still there? Chuck, wake up.
What were the breakpoints you guys had for after 99? What are the breakpoints?
So the ones I've heard is that between 99 and 499, there's not a huge difference. So that would be the next most logical. I see people, it drives me crazy. You see people do like $247. It's like, it's nothing.
I mean, it's hard to tell, man. Like, fuck. Though I trust your breakpoints quite a lot after all the experimentation I did.
Yeah.
It's spot on. Like, it's totally legit. We
Yeah.
can't sell 69, 49, 39, but 29 was like by far. And 29 was better than 19, was better than 39, was better than 49, was better. It was like ridiculous. It was like so fucking good.
I feel like there's like at 300, like below 300, at least for me. That's a like there's a
could be.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'll spend that. But if I'm thinking about spending 500, because when I think 499, I'm thinking 500, and now I'm making a different decision.
So maybe like do a $499 full price, but then early bird $99 or something.
That's too much of a cut on the. You're not going to sell any full price if you do that. I mean, it's a good anchor for the early bird. You'll sell a lot of early birds, more early birds, but you won't sell any full price if you do that.
I would question the early bird thing altogether, honestly. I mean, the way that you might do this would be to run it once. Just I honestly, I would, since you've got a live cutoff date, I would just I would just stick with one price, because it's gonna, like, the train's leaving the station and they've got to get on board. I mean, Copy Hour's done this really well, where he raises the price every time he does it. But he doesn't discount. I mean, it's not discounted. It's just like the scarcity is, it starts on February 1st. And if you're not signed up, then the cart's closed and you can't get in, because it's live and it's cohort model. So if you're gonna do that, like, I don't really see the point in doing the early bird, because the early bird.
I was going to say, how many more do you think you'll sell if you put it on an early bird? I mean, because my experience with it, like with the conferences and things like that, the live events I've done, is that you just get money earlier. You don't really sell more tickets that way, if that makes sense.
I think you do sell more because people are on the fence.
Only if the price difference matters to them. So if it's a $50 difference, and that gets them into the price range they're willing to spend, but I'm not convinced that it really makes you that much more money.
I'll give you an example. I was at Social Media Marketing World, right? I bought their creator ticket, which was like $400 this time around, and I went to the conference. It was cool, and I was like, yeah, man. I will consider going to it next year at the normal thing, like the whole thing. The price for the whole thing was like $1,000, and by the time I got this ticket, it was like $1,500 or something. Right? I didn't go for it.
Right.
But when they offered the early bird, which was like $600 for next year conference, I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. Though otherwise, I would have just taken the smaller, the lower level, because that was kind of okay for me. Like I did well just with the $400 ticket, but this time I ended up spending $700 just because it was an early bird price compared to the $1,000 they will sell me at later on. So I just oversold myself for nothing.
Well, so wait, is that the one that you guys went to and you ended up leaving early, or?
No, social media marketing world is where actually that was really good. This stupidity was something else.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, what was I gonna say?
That's a live event, though. That's like.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the main purpose of an early bird in my mind is when you have some fixed costs and there's an advantage to getting bodies committed to cover those fixed costs. So when you've got a hotel and you're paying for a ballroom in a hotel, then filling that, like at least covering that way, you're not losing money right on the event. So that's where I think that's typically where you see early bird offers the most. I mean, I've seen it sometimes on online courses and stuff too, but mostly it's like live events where there's, you know, facilities involved and catering and all that stuff.
Here, do this. Like, you want to price anchor it, right? So, and also you want to have the urgency. So instead of doing an early bird, right, you're essentially going to do the same thing, but what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, this is the first time that I'm doing this course.
A beta launch.
It's my pricing for it is $700 or $500, whatever you want. However, price anchor it really high, right? Maybe $1,000 even. Okay.
$997.
Yeah, exactly. Do $997. Say that's the price. But since this is the first time, since you guys are going through it the first time, I'm going to give it to you for $97, but only until Friday's the last day to sign up. And then that'll be your urgency. You'll have a nice price anchor at the $1,000 price point. And then, you know, and then see how that does.
Yep. And then you can use that as a break. You can use that feedback, because I always like to try to start with the simplest form of the offer first. And if you're doing like early bird price, you know, if you're already complicating it, like if you just offer it at one price, make it a simple decision, then you're going to run this again, presumably, and it'll be easier next time. So you can spend more time, you know, tinkering with the offer and the funnel, because you won't have all the content to worry about.
I think, the anchoring is where the early bird, like I was thinking early bird because there's a price anchor and then the early bird. So that kind of gives people different, like that's
right.
Simple offer because of the price. Like, how do I anchor it before I offer a discount, right?
The other thing you can do is that Copy Hour does is he tells you what the price is going to be next time.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's basically what John's saying. Like if you're gonna raise the price every time you launch it, which Derek from Copy Hour does that, then you can just tell them, you know, like next time I do this, I'm planning to charge $997, and then you know maybe you go up to $997. I would actually make the price. Well, yeah, I don't know, but you should probably make the price be what you're actually going to charge next time. Otherwise, you'll be onto it.
People's trust. Yeah, be careful with like, okay, this is the price I'm going to offer it at next time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's what I think John Lee Dumas did with his EO Fire Mastermind or something. He was like, right now it's at $100, but once it's done, come February, I'll raise it to 150 or 200. So you want to get it now? You're gonna grandfather it in at this rate.
I mean, and essentially it's the same thing, like almost like you could call this early bird, you know, like now thinking about this, and you could say that that if you get in early, you can get in at $99 instead of the $1,000 price point. I guess it doesn't really matter. Like if you're just using it for the price point, right? If you're just using it for the anchor, then I suppose it's fine. It doesn't really matter what you call it. I guess one advantage of using something like the early bird, well, there's two advantages now that I'm thinking it through, is the next time you do it, you can do the same thing, right? Whereas if you do what I originally said and said that then you couldn't do the same thing. You couldn't offer a discounted price like that. And then the second one would be that you can now tell people, hey, you know, if you're on the fence, you're not sure, just buy the ticket now for $97 instead of paying $1,000, and you can always refund it if you change your mind. So you might push some people over by having that offer, by saying like, look, you got nothing to lose. You don't want to miss out on this. You don't want to get stuck and have to pay the $1,000 price ticket. Just pay the $97 now to make sure that you're in, and you can always decide later. Because that's a strong push, I think. But I don't know.
The other here's one other option to throw at you. The other option I can think of would be to sell it without don't sell it the early bird, just sell it, you know, kind of straightforward. But then afterwards downsell to like the videos. Basically you're selling, you know, it's $4.99 to participate in the class. Don't talk about a video only version, but then afterwards tell them, you know, hey, you know, if you want access to this after it's all done, I'll give it to you at this price, and you won't get to participate, but you'll still get the content.
Yeah. That's. I was planning to do that anyways at a later time, but yeah, might as well like sell to those people right off the bat.
If it were me, I would do a baseline of just offering it at one price, and then that will give you an idea of how it works, and then you can test other stuff. Because when you like make it super complicated to start off, then you're always worried like, well, if I change it, you know, you don't know how much of the effect was actually due to the super complicated, you know, 6-tier pricing thing you put in place versus if you just offered it.
Yeah, I mean, simple pricing is probably the best. The tiered pricing, yeah, shit, I was not thinking of it, but now just because you said it, I started to think.
Oops, that had the opposite of intended effect.
It always helps to have the second tier to anchor though.
Well,
you could do that. If you were going to do that, what I would say would be to do the $4.99 and then like $19.99 and have it be like with some personal, because you want to like basically, yeah, the idea is like it's high enough that maybe 2 people buy it, if that, or you don't want a lot of people to buy it.
Right.
Using it as a price anchor.
Yeah, I'm really liking the idea of having very, very high price anchors now. Like after watching Grant Cardone with the 10X and everything that he's been doing ridiculous price anchors, right? But it's been working really well, where it's like you look at the thing and you're like, wow, is this really a $10,000 product? But he says it is, so you're like, well, okay, so you know this this $500 price on this $10,000 product sure looks really good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even though you know as a marketer that that's not the case, like the fact that it still draws you slightly and you have to look at it says that's it just seems like that seems like the strongest thing is the price anchor, especially for these type of products.
The only problem with something like that, I have to redo it at a later time. It'll always be like, hey, anchoring at 1,000, but then I'm selling it again at $199 instead.
Well, that's why you have some period of time where your regular price is just the full price, right? Where you know what I mean? Like that's where I went back again and said maybe the early bird is actually maybe a decent idea, because then you're saying you're essentially not going to sell anything besides the early bird, but you're going to offer the non-early bird after a certain date. And so then you're legitimately offering the full price.
Well, but you're not though, because it's a live course.
No.
But between the live course and the early bird, let's say the early bird is for 5 days, and then the regular price is for 5 days before the live course opens. So that way you can always make sure the live course is at $497 while the early bird is at $297. So people get in at $297. May not sell anything at $497, but the price is anchored at $497 at that point.
Oh, I see.
And you can even send them emails. Like again, I'd probably do $997, but you can send them emails in between, and you can say, here now it's open for regular pricing, and you could sell it at the regular pricing, the $997, and then you can say, sorry, you missed out on the early bird special. I had it for $97. Click here to get on a list to make sure that you get it for next time, right? And you don't sell it at that time, but you just tag them, and then and it's just like building for the next time, right?
So
and building the credibility.
That was a pretty big delta there, don't you think?
Between $9.97 and $97.
Yeah. I mean, anything live, would you even pay for a live class for just $100? That sounds too cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I think starting it at $297 would probably be fine. I don't think I'd go all the way. I don't think I'd go all the way down to 97.
Yeah.
I mean, what I've found on this stuff is that we tested how to market yourself at $299 and $499, and it was the same revenue basically. It was one of those where it was. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that it's. I don't know. Like a lot of this stuff. That's why I kind of favor the idea of getting a simple baseline, because
actually
you can really complicate this stuff, and a lot of times it doesn't make as much of a difference as you would think.
It's the same revenue. I'd go with the lower price point because I get more people in the funnel, future customers, right?
Right. That's how I would go with it too. Some people would rather have a higher price point and have fewer customers, actually. So
it depends
on your perspective. So.
Well, I think it depends on your product and your confidence in the product as well, right? Because if you have what you believe is going to be just an awesome deal and an awesome experience, and then the more people you get into it, the more that you're going to have repeat customers, then that's good. But if you feel like it's not necessary, or how long it takes them to consume the content, right? Then that, I think that's the big question, is because if you feel like it's like they're either not going to be like, they're going to be like, okay, this was worth the money, or there's a lot of content for them to consume, then having more customers isn't good, because that's more people that bought something from you that are probably going to be already still consuming what they've bought from you, so they're not going to buy again pretty soon. Or, you see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the factor here too.
So the other question is around announcing, like, should I even tell them what time the calls will be? Because then people will select themselves out of it, right? Like, how
yeah, I wouldn't. I'm trying to think about that. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't, because you're going to make them available. So if some people can't make it, they can still get the content. So, and there's still going to be, I'm sure there's like other opportunities to get live support, help on stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't. That's like details that go out after the purchase.
So just say what date it is starting or what date the card is closing, and don't even say when the
So that's a good question. So when I did a pilot of my email copywriting workshop, and I screwed up because I made the start date like 2 days after the cart close. And I was scrambling to put my first lesson together because I'd spent I'd done all this stuff to do the launch, and that was a lot of work. And then I was scrambling to put my and people were emailing me like, "What's going on? I just paid you $500, and there's no communication." So definitely it would be a good idea to have at least an email or two queued up that's ready to go. Like as soon as they sign up, they hear from you and they know what's going on, so that you don't get that kind of because people were starting to get antsy on me. And it was only 2 days. I mean, I was ended the sale on like a Saturday or a Friday, and I started the class on Monday. And I was like crunching to put together an hour-long presentation. And meanwhile, people were starting to get, the pitchforks were starting to rustle, and I was starting to get nervous. So
yeah.
That early communication is important.
But then on the sales page, do you say when it's going to start?
I mean, you could, if it I think that Copy Hour definitely does, in the emails for sure. I think it probably makes sense to tell them when it's going to start, but not give them any details beyond that.
But
we're open on day X.
Yeah, one thing with Josh's point there, though, is with the 2 days spacing. Yeah, you can space it out a little bit more, but what I found is if it's too far in the future, people won't buy it either.
Right.
So yeah, so just make sure that if you're saying, hey, look, this is going to start on this date, make sure it's not like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you can the other thing you can do is I made the mistake of having my first lesson. Like there's like some fluff content that you can give to start. That's not like an hour-long presentation like I did. So, have an intro video that comes out on a Monday and like maybe like some kind of, journaling or reflection assignment or just something to kind of buffer it, kind of start them getting ready versus just, you're full into the course like on that first day. So, I mean, like this Course Builders Laboratory thing I've been going through, they had like a whole, module about this course and here's what we're going to do. And before you got into any of the content. So
that makes sense. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I never want, I don't like creating presentations. So I'm just pieces of my mind map.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Always much more effective.
Yeah. I tend to be more scripted. It's just how I work. So.
Yeah. I mean, you can script. Yeah. You can script in the mind map. It's just that it's much more, you don't have to spend as much time beautifying the whole thing and all that stuff. And the thinking is clean. It's just clean because it's a mind map. So you actually are following the process.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of mind mapping.
Yeah.
That's funny. That just reminded me. I got a comment on one of my YouTube videos yesterday. Where was it? This is hilarious. It's like, oh shoot, did it get deleted? It might. I think he might have got embarrassed and deleted his comment. That tends to happen.
Huh?
I had 150K subscribers.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh wow, yeah. Did he really delete his comment? So.
Did he get shamed?
I think so. Yeah, because he said you should. I like your videos, but you should script them and get to the point quicker. And so my response was, "Fuck off."
Content starts at 1:35.
Well, so, John, this is funny too. I did that survey I mentioned. One of the last questions, one of the last answers that came in was, the question once again was, if you had 15 minutes to ask me anything about, your career as a software developer, what would you ask? And the question was, and then the second question I ask is why is this important to you?
Right.
And so the question the person asked was, what time does the video start? Nice. And then the follow-up was, I have to know. I got a huge kick out of that.
People like to be abused because the guy replied back and he was like, I can't remember what he said, but he was like, you get bigger every time that I see you. I love your videos. And then some other guy replied back and he's like, that's exactly the kind of like pussy ass, like kissing up to John comment that John would not appreciate.
Nice. No wonder this poor guy.
Yeah. So
every time you see John, you have to say, John, you're not getting big anymore. You're getting smaller. What the fuck's going on? John's gonna take notice. He's gonna be like, oh shit.
There you go.
Or, just massacre John on his YouTube channel every day, and you John listen to him.
We should probably wrap up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts for the day.
Seems like we just talk about Josh these days, which is good.
I know, right? That's the kind of whiny suck-up comment that Josh doesn't appreciate.
I love it.
You can't be whiny and suck up at the same time.
Sure you can.
All right. Anybody have any thoughts?
So I'm at NGConf, and yeah, it's been fun here. Just seeing people that I don't see for a while. By the way, you're talking about YouTube and 150,000 subscribers, John, and I'm like 50 away from getting 1,000. So, so go subscribe, devchat.tv/YouTube. I think my main thought is, so I mentioned yesterday that I was, I'm working on lining up more sponsors, and I've been kind of following the process and reaching out to sponsors. Of course, that's part of what I do here at the conference too. Is I've met a bunch of the conference sponsors, some of whom have sponsored the podcast in the past. Some currently sponsor, but anyway, yeah, just doing that outreach, I've gotten a whole bunch of people going, "Oh yeah, we'll sponsor," and yeah, I feel kind of like an idiot at this point because I knew what I had to do and I didn't do it. But at the same time, I mean, it's a very human thing to do. So I guess the main point that I'm getting at is, set some sort of keystone behaviors in place, and then just stick to the process. Just do what you have to do. And so for me, it's reaching out to sponsors, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of that later on today. But yeah, just making that work, and yeah, trust the process, make it work.
Shit. I might have a meeting at 10:30. I totally blew it.
Uh-oh.
That's Manny's thought. I might have had a meeting right now. I keep getting distracted by Back to the Future. It's playing right over there.
Nice. So mine, I think, I've just been really struggling with the negativity lately. And the sales thing has definitely been rough. And then I've had some other things pop up that have just been sort of like the same thing, where it's like, gosh, I've been working on this stuff for years and I feel like I'm nowhere. And one thing I'm trying to do a little bit more is just like trying to focus on positive things when I first wake up in the morning and not let myself get sucked into. So I'm like actually starting in the morning. I'm kind of like, when I wake up, I'm kind of like trying to think about some things that I'm grateful for. And it's a little cheesy, but it's it's much better than like digging into my latest failure metrics. So I don't know. It's like one of those times where I have to really, if I'm going to get anything done, I really have to kind of try to guard my mindset, because it's pretty easy. Like, there was one day like this week, I just laid down on my floor in my office and like took a nap. I just like, I don't know what to do. And so anyway, yeah, I'm just really trying to focus on, look for some positive things deliberately to focus on.
You might be a good candidate for my course.
I will have to give that some serious thought.
Yeah, I've heard about this meditation course over the last hour that I think would be good for you, Josh.
Or the mental toughness course, one of the two.
My morning routine course is coming out soon too. So
Oh, nice. There you go.
Productivity and mental toughness, all of that combined, I think will be perfect for you, Josh.
There we go.
Let's see. I think my thought for the week is to be unreactive. I've been kind of focusing on that and just having a lot more success in interact. I realized how reactive that I was, and so I've been like approaching things with just like an unreactive mindset, which is kind of hard to do, but it's basically the best way I can describe it is just being chill, like just basically making sure that when not really caring like what someone's opinion or thought or response to you is, but just continuing to pursue your agenda. So like everything is just like chill. It doesn't matter. All right, that doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. It doesn't matter. Having more like that, because I feel like in negotiations, in interactions, people don't feel like you're seeking an agenda because you're just unreactive. You're not waiting for them to respond so that you can respond again, right? So many times in conversations, and I was doing a lot of networking and whatnot at the conference that I was at, and I was just focusing on basically not having an agenda, just being unreactive, and it sort of almost becomes like this program mindset where someone says something, and then you're just automatically have a response because you're not trying to come up with a response that will either please them, diffuse the situation, like that has some kind of agenda. So your responses come out more naturally, and when they come out more naturally, people are more comfortable, and everything goes better in your interactions. So it's definitely a skill set that's, I'd say, difficult to develop because we're very much reactive. We're always looking to see, when we say things, a lot of times when we're in conversations, we're waiting to think about what we're going to say next, to respond to someone, or we're trying to get a certain response out of someone. But when we let go of all of that, then we come off as more genuine and authentic. And since we don't have an agenda, people are more likely to connect, and they're more likely to give you what you want, or for the negotiation or conversation to go your direction, because you don't have that outcome that's that they're perceiving in it. So there you go. Don't react.
And that happens more with the people. The more you look up to someone, or the more you want something from them, the more reactive you become, compared to if you don't really care as much, then you're much more authentic.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, like, here's a good example was I was at MGM this weekend, where they had the ACM, the Country Music Awards, right? And I don't know any country music star. I don't follow. Country music sucks. So so anyway, I was there at like this bar like a couple nights before, and I was just going around talking to people, and I was just like, I just talked to everyone, right? And so I'm a bunch of people I talked to, I guess, like, some people afterwards are like, oh, did you know who you were talking to? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, and so they're very much, oh, I would love to meet him. I'd love to get his picture. So I'm like, okay, well, come over here, and, grab the guy, like, hey, come on, let's take a picture. Right. And it was like they were having trouble talking with these country music stars because they're reactive, right? They're like, they care what they think. They have this, but me, I don't have any agenda. I don't care. I'm just like, hey, there's some dude there, right? I'm just gonna go talk to this guy, and so like, so my success rate was much higher, because when he sees me going up to talk to him, he's like, okay, this guy doesn't have an agenda. He's just like, hey, what's going on, right? Whereas, there's these other people that are coming up, they got their camera, and they're like, hey, I love your music. How's it going? Could you just do me a favor? Could you take a picture with us real quick? And he's like, nah, man, get out of here. Right. It's like, right. It's like such a difference, because, and that's what it comes down to. So there you go.
The Present is like a great, it's a good book, but it is poorly written in the sense that it's not like organized properly. It could have done a much better job of like clarifying the main point.
Right.
It's not presence, but it was more like power and authenticity. That's what presence comes along for the ride. But authenticity was the ultimate name of the game, and power maybe in some ways. So it was interesting. My thought is that I should have launched this week. I lost, so I was slow. So my thought is to act faster. Speed of implementation is the name of the game in business, because all of these things that we talked about, I probably might have struggled through them and maybe made some mistakes in the process, but I would have learned much faster anyways. So I missed out on that learning from experimentation.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you next week.
Yep.
Yep.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.